Hello and welcome to TCSN. I'm Kenzie with the Shuttle crew, and we are bringing you the news this week. We all remember when Paris attacked just last week. According to USnews.com, FBI Director James Comey says that there is no credible threat to the U.S. The FBI is closely tracking dozens of people on which agents are concerned that could be particularly prone to violence. After the Paris attacks, the agents are giving extra security to people that might be tempted to copycat. The Obama administration ultimately decided against seeking legislation to address an issue that Comey said is crashing into public safety. But the FBI director that said law enforcement officials were in the process of collecting examples of cases in which encryption has affected their work, and the dialogue with the companies was in a healthier place. None of these companies want their services or their devices used by these psychotic killers, he said. It is not about demonizing them, but I hate it when anything I say is constructed as I am used against these companies. After Paris was attacked, people were shocked and the FBI had to do something about it so people would not freak out even more than they already were. So they figured that there was no threat to the U.S.
Had plans to go to a state park? Well, that might change since they are closed for 2 days for reduction on Monday and Tuesday. They are doing this because they want to maintain control of the deer population and to help keep some endangered species safe. A quote from the Chief of Natural Resources for Indiana State Parks said, "Deer are like us. They have different preferences. They'll really hammer some species, but not so much other species." And we do have some endangered species that are literally almost like ice cream to deer. We're not only charged with protecting deer and other mammals and so forth, but we're in charge of protecting the habitat which all species depend on, said Mike McCroft. He's basically inferring that deer are possibly oblivious to some other species and how close they are to extinction or just disappearing for good. They don't have what we have to tell them to be careful around certain species, like saying that this certain species has a certain limited amount of population left. That's also why they close the parks off for a little, just in case no one will get hurt by some misfire of some sort, by hunters that are going to be reducing the deer population there. In conclusion, I just hope that the hunting won't end up with someone getting harmed by a misfire or an accident by some hunter mistaking somebody else for deer, because you know that is a very possible outcome in hunting. You never know what you see. You might just jump and shoot. Remember to stay safe. Well, next up is science and tech, but from Jake.
There is now a more efficient way to clean our water. Chemical engineers from MIT have developed a shockwave-based process to treat salty or contaminated water to make it usable. Unlike most traditional desalination systems, it does not separate ions or water molecules with filters, which can become clogged or start boiling, which consumes great amounts of energy. Instead, the system uses an electric-driven shockwave within a stream of flowing water, which pushes salty water to one side of the flow and fresh water to the other, allowing separation of the two streams. Now on to Audrey with good news.
Did you know that November is National Diabetes Awareness Month? Over 29 million Americans are living with diabetes today. There are 3 types of diabetes. Those who suffer from diabetes can suffer from type 1 diabetes, which means your body does not create its own insulin. You have to take insulin through an injection every day. It's more common for someone to have type 2 diabetes, which means your body doesn't properly use the insulin. You have to monitor your insulin levels throughout the day. And the 3rd type only affects women during pregnancy, and this is called gestational diabetes. There are many risk factors that make someone more likely to have diabetes. Things like being overweight, poor eating habits, or lack of exercise can trigger diabetes. Eating fruits, veggies, protein, and getting daily exercise can keep you healthy and keep diabetes away. So in the month of November, let's spread awareness around the world about diabetes. Together we can eliminate the risk factors in our life and stay healthy. Happy Thanksgiving!